So I'm originally from the U.S. Came over after graduating from my undergraduate degree in marketing, and had this drive to want to work in the film industry from a previous experience of acting, and then found this program. It was perfect. It was 1 year. I thought 1 year I'll be done. That'll be it. And came out and had the best time ever. I loved that it was split between Exeter and London, so I got a mix of smaller town, which is what I'm used to back home in Indiana, but also getting this bigger city life, as well as just a whole different approach to academics that I've just not had before, coming from business school to more of a degree that's hands-on, learning pitching and development and the process of creation, and not just being the creative. You can come from any walk of educational or non-educational background into this, and still apply yourself, and learn from this program. I will say that it helped me understand the financials a bit better, having that background, but then applying it to learning about waterfalls and just the process of producing. I had no idea what that even looked like. And so I will say my business background helped me academically with how to study, how to learn, how to intake information, but it was more of just having the passion for film that bridged those two together. And bridging the film and the business was interesting, as we learned in classes. The class structure was so interesting, bringing in different people with professionals within the industry to come in and speak to us, because it wasn't like we were taking notes and learning and being tested. It was, this is my experience, and I'm coming to this classroom, not me, but the guest speakers coming in and speaking to us as not as students. They didn't treat us like students. We were treated as professionals, developing our skills and our understanding of what we're getting into with this evolving industry. And one of the biggest things I think that I was taught by one of our guest speakers, Debbie, she came in and she said, never show up anywhere and say that you're a student. The second you tell someone that you're a student, you've completely taken yourself a step below them. You go to these festivals and you say, no, I am a producer, or I'm working to be a producer. I'm learning to do these different crafts and skills, because they treated us like professionals. And that was just really, really cool to have that almost confidence built into us as we learned. I think it was really cool the way that we got to be hands-on, and it wasn't just, oh, pitch this fake situation or fake company. It was all very real of this, we want you to pitch things that you can make a reality after you graduate. So even just working on my dissertation, working with my classmate on a documentary, and our goals to work on that in the next 10 years is really interesting. As well as I really liked in the first term when we were in Exeter, we worked with the Exmouth Film Festival, and were able to curate a slate of short films to go into the festival. And as on my resume, I'm that's really cool to say I got to not only go to these various film festivals, but I got to curate and produce a short film bit of exhibition cinema in a film festival. It's really, really cool. We did the Exmouth Film Festival, which was cool. We not only attended our own things that we put on and our other fellow students, but what the film festival also had in the community. We did Berlin, and then as a big group, a few of us went to Berlin, and then as a big group, we all went to Cannes. And I think my favorite thing at Cannes was we all did our own little networking before going, which I would say is really helpful, because some of us were able to intern. Not usually paid, but you get the experience, and it's really cool to be able to say oh, I sat in on meetings, or I did certain things. I kind of took the liberty of, I'm really interested in documentaries, and so in the mornings I would go to a little documentary circle, and it was just a group of 30 people sitting around a circle saying, we all work in the documentary sector of this industry, and we're going to start our days off by sharing good news. And it can be a very stressful week for people working in Cannes, and so having that morning of just taking a deep breath and just saying we're all grateful to be here and meet new people was really, really cool. There's the whole side of networking that I've been, for the past year, working on that aspect of it's not always what you know, but who you know. So being able to walk into a room and say that I have the confidence to shake hands with somebody I don't know is a really valuable skill that I think this program really hones in on, because that's a really important aspect of film business and just business in general. I think that this program also touched a lot on finances, learning how budgets work, the importance of a solid foundation for how you're going to fund a film, working with very little, using your resources and your networking opportunities to get more money. Never be afraid to reach out, because the worst someone can say is no, and you move on to the next. But I think like another challenge is just the uncertainty of this industry. A lot of us have just graduated looking for jobs. It can be disheartening not getting a job immediately into the film industry, and that's just your stepping stone. Every job you'll have in life after you graduate is a stepping stone to what you actually want to do. So I think a lot of us are taking the approach of going down different paths, or keeping creative sides to us and going down different ways to get to where we ultimately want to be. And that in itself can be a challenge that we're all, I think, individually finding out for ourselves, which is actually really cool, talking to people after we graduate, saying, what are you doing now? And how is it going? What is it looking like for you? And what do you want to do? And how are you getting there? And that's just been really cool to see. In my last few months of the MIIFB program, I was speaking to a few of our different guests that would come in. And I just wanted to know what gaps are in the market as for jobs. And that's the big thing everyone wants to know. How am I going to make money? Or what can I do that I get to combine different things that I'm really interested in? And I like to say that I'm interested in pulling puppet strings. I want to be close to the creative, but I don't want to be the creative. But I want to, in a way, control how things are done. And that can look like directing or producing. But someone told me there's a big gap in the market for business affairs. And that can be law. You don't have to study law to do it, but I just figured I'm here and I don't want to be rejected by the workforce yet, so I'll just study. And so in my last few months at MIFB, I started applying to schools in the UK, and I'm now studying law for this 1-year law conversion. And I think ultimately what I would like to do in the future with that, combining them, is I love working with talent. As coming from a talent background, I love working with talent. And so I think either in an agency kind of role, or even being the in-house business affairs for a production company. Because the program and the cohorts are quite small compared to, say, going to a bigger school or whatever it is, you get very close with the cohort that you're in. So we had maybe 33 people. When you build this community of people that you go through stressful times of meeting deadlines, but also travel partners, because you go to these different festivals, and because we're all so different from different places, not everyone stays, and so you miss the community that this program brings together. But it's fun when we have events like this that we get to come back for and reunite. And so I think I'll miss the most that little community, but also the environment that the professors also set up for us, the tutors and our mentors that provided a safe space for us to be creative and ask dumb questions and be together, definitely.